Today, this is day 2 with the kids named this filly Speedy Gonzalez. This is day 2 of her getting halter broke. Yesterday I had the old gelding that she's mothered up to tied to the post on the outside of the pen here, so she had kind of a comfort blanket. Today I didn't put him there. Let her kind of start being a little independent. Yesterday I just roped her around the neck, got her to give to a pull, and then had quite a time getting the rope off. That day 1 I'm always just about getting them to give to the pull. Today's the day where she learns how to get touched. And so I got to snag a front leg. Hind leg works, but I prefer a front leg. I talked about yesterday, I don't want to be running around swinging my rope and causing opportunity for them to get hot and bounce off stuff. That's on day 1. Day 2, I kind of have to a little bit. It's part of why I do day 1 the way I do it. I can see how much opportunity they're gonna give themselves to kill themselves. And that happens a lot of times. So when you rope a front leg like that, if you just bear down and take it like on an adult horse, you a lot of times can spill them, which is kind of what you want to do on an adult horse. If you're roping a front leg on a baby, I don't want to spill her. And then the other thing about this front leg roping is I've started a lot of broncs in my life, and I got to where I was really good at roping 2 front legs and tripping them. So good, in fact, that it's really difficult for me to rope just 1 front leg and not trip them. Oh, got a hind leg. Part of this deal, it's real easy to get frustrated when you miss and miss and miss and miss. But you got to just tell yourself, hey, I'm just taking the edge off of them. These babies, they can't run around for very long without getting wore out. Ouch! And that's the kind of stuff why especially on day 1, where I don't like giving them an opportunity to run around and get silly, because I don't want to bounce them off stuff like that. We'll get her caught here in a second. Or not. Dang, she's fast. There, we got it. So there's where I want it, right around the pasture in there. Get! All right, now I give her a chance to just chill out a little bit. Hey! Get out! May have to tie that dog. Get out! So yesterday she learned how to give to that rope around her neck. All right. Get! 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 Yesterday I'm laughing so hard I can't hardly do anything. Yesterday she learned how to give to that rope around her neck. So today she's gonna learn how to give to her feet, and this is pretty undisputed logic. That if you can control their feet, you can control their mind. And so we'll get her leading off this foot. And so right here, like the fact that it's pulling backwards on her, I don't care. She's still giving to it, or still learning to give to it. And I'm getting up here, getting in her space. I'm not putting a bunch of pressure on her. But I want her to have the opportunity to catch her breath. She got scared. That's okay. And start thinking things out. So like I talked about yesterday, she's out of a reset mare that was a little bit ill, kind of hard to be around, kind of bad-minded. Genetically, this filly's really, really well bred, but the whole reset deal, you know, genetically you could be sired by Albert Einstein and out of, I don't know, Jacqueline Kennedy. But if you were born and raised in a crack house, you act like a crackhead. So one of the reasons I like to go with this front leg, for one, the hind leg is get out! It's pretty easy for me to hurt them if I get them by a hind leg. I can pull a stifle, I can do a lot of stuff. This front leg, it's hard to hurt anything. And so I can put more pressure on. She saw me pick up a rock. I can put more pressure on them with way less risk. That's okay too. All that's fine. I don't worry about that. Once in a while you get a little rope burn doing this. It's also not a big deal. So I'm just gonna move her around here, get in her space, show her I've got control of her. Tough went and got back in his stall. I want to address another little piece, is that there's some people that say, well, you know, if you've got a rope one or if you've got a snub one, there's something missing in your program, yada, yada, yada. And their argument would be that this foal should have been, what is it called when you grab them and molest them when they're born? Imprinted. So it's been proven that over and over again that imprinting is really bad for them. It's really bad for their psyche. Horses that are imprinted get depressed. They've got a lot of learned helplessness. And so you say, well, there's something missing in your program, they should have been imprinted. Well, no, you should never imprint them. Imprinting them is really bad for them. But then again, this wasn't a mare. This filly's mama wasn't something you could have imprinted. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't own a mare that would let me imprint a foal. That's her job to protect them. We're just moving her around here, showing her where the boundaries are. Okay. Kind of got it figured out, little one. So I was letting her walk away from me there. Now I'm not. And that's where she's starting to learn to give to those feet. And this is less about me getting my hands on her and petting her, and more about her learning how to give to that pull. You're just a tiny baby. Yeah. Still got baby hooves. And when I say I've got less opportunity to hurt one roping by a front leg here, it's not impossible. Horses don't have collarbones. Their front legs are held on just by muscle. And so, get mad, that's all right. What I don't want to do is just bear down. You know, if I took another wrap around this post, then she couldn't get any slack out of it. But I don't want to do that because it's less likely that I hurt one, but it is possible. And so I don't want to just muscle her. Not to mention just muscling them that's the whole reason I don't like imprinting. Here's a good opportunity to touch her on the hind end with my rope. There's a rope burn waiting to happen, so I can give her a bunch of slack. If this was winter, I wouldn't have minded that. I'd let her fight that rope because it wouldn't have rope burned her. But being summer and she got a summer coat, that would have rope burned her. And like I said, they're not the end of the world, but I just soon not have it. And so this is all just, this is what Mama taught her. She's not scared of me, but her dam taught her to move away from people. And so she's doing what her dam taught her to do. That's why I'm not forcing myself on her. Just getting in her space and letting her make the decision to let it be okay. She wants to leave that space, that's fine. And everything I do in this groundwork if they want to leave the space they're in, I always let them. Sometimes I make it rather difficult with various sorts of hobbles, but I always make it to where they can leave that space. Making it difficult just makes them second guess themselves about leaving it. You notice is every time I've got the opportunity, I run this rope right up the tailpipe there. And that'll teach me if one's liable to kick me or not. She's not. But even if one is, it'll get them where they're less likely to. Whole time I'm sacking her out with this rope. It's all right, tiny one. It's all right, tiny one. She says, oh, I don't like that. Later on, you know, when she's a yearling and she's learning how to get caught, all this is going to reflect. She knows that when I want her, I can catch her anytime I want her. Little mama. That wasn't kicking at me, that was just getting her foot out of the rope. And so I talked about yesterday that this is a really, really well-bred filly. And I've halter broke a lot of range-bred ranch horses that weren't quite this tough. It just sort of speaks to the fact that how much importance there is in that dam. Bet that hurt. Whacked your old nose. Whacked your old nose on that post. All I wanted to do was touch you. There we go. There we go. I always use the back of my hand, touch them at first. Get mad if you want. I don't know why the back of your hand sets off less electricity than the palm, but it sure does. There you go, little one. It's not the end of the world. Get hot and sweaty and out of breath. No reason to do that. Got a tick right there. No, it's just a scab. Yeah. I'll mention this part here, and I wrote about it to some extent in the book I just finished. There's a real well-known horseman and clinician, and I heard a quote from him that said, people spend all these time trying to soften these horses up, when what they ought to do is make sure that they never get stiff. Well, this is a 4-month-old filly. I've got my hand on her neck right here, and that's the key to getting one broke, is their neck, getting that soft and flexible. And they're born rigid. They have to be. God made them to where they can be up running full speed in an hour after birth. And to do that, you have to be rigid, and they stay rigid. Until we soften them up. So I like the guy's sentiment. It's just that it's wrong. Okay, we got this sorted out. We're gonna get you to take a couple steps for me, and then I'll turn you loose. So like I said, that actually took longer than it normally does, just to get her still so I could pet on her. And this is where I actually teach one to lead. There we go. Good job. I find doing this, a lot of them fall in love with that post. They figure out that that's neutral. There's no pressure on when they're next to the post. Good girl. And so, like when I was starting colts for the public, I would do this a lot with 2- and 3-year-olds, because they didn't really know how to lead. They knew how to follow a guy, but they didn't know how to lead. And again, it's a pretty universal statement amongst horsemen that if you can teach those feet, you can teach the rest of them. Atta girl. Took a step for me. Atta girl. I'm actually having to do a lot less. Than I would do if she was a few months older. Because she's just not mature enough for it. If she was 6, 7 months old, I'd play around here till I had her leading all the way around the pen by a front leg. But she's pretty immature, so I got a couple of steps. I gotta go around and put my hands on her. You got a big long wheat whirl right there, baby. That's bad luck. Got her quieted down. So she got scared, she got hot. Got her quieted down, got where I can put my hands on her. She gives that rope a little bit. I'm gonna take it. Now a lot of guys would say, stay right here and pet them until they walk off. That's not my plan. I don't want her to know she can walk off. I'm gonna walk off. So yesterday when we did this, I went and got her gelding and let him back in here for her to find and follow out. I talked about why I don't want to chase him out. I'm not going to chase her out today either. I'm going to let her find her way out. Today is the day about thinking. And if she happens to figure it out on her own, that's great. But if she doesn't, I'll go get him. Cracks me up that you came and got back in your stall. Guess you didn't have any place else to go, did you? Went and got a drink of water. Gate's not open, so you can't go get in the garden like you want to. This rotten son of a gun. We got a pickup load of grain yesterday and forgot that he and the baby were loose in the yard. He broke into the pickup, tore up all the grain buckets, or grain bags. There, she says, there's my boss. So today we let her find that gate. So I'll just end this with just reiterating that, you know, I've halter broke hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of colts this way. And usually they're 6, 7, 8 months, somewhere around there. And she's a little younger. And so it's going to take a little bit longer. Usually when I do it the second day, usually when I do it by the third day, I can put a halter on them and lead them and tie them up solid without any problems. She's probably going to take at least one more day than that. And it's just, she's younger, less mature. She's just barely learning how to think, you know. She's only had a little over a week without mama and living with this gelding and trying to think things out herself. She said, well, I guess I'll go get back in my stall too. That's all I know how to do. No, maybe not. And so that's okay. That's okay with me. If it takes longer, it takes longer. But what's important is that I don't try to muscle her, don't try to put too much pressure on her. It's real easy to rope one by a front leg and snub them to this post and then get a flag and just flag them until they take it. But that doesn't really do me any good. It's satisfying at the time, but it doesn't do any good in the long term, doesn't really work. So what's important is just to let it be, do it piece by piece by piece. I talked yesterday about the fact that I'm trying to train her to, as soon as she's done working, go to water. And then, so that's what she did. She wandered around there a minute trying to figure out what she's supposed to do. And, oh yeah, guess I'm supposed to go get a drink of water. So, you know, we're training on a lot of different fronts every time we put our hands on them.
I want to thank the subscribers of our Patreon channel. The patrons, that's Patron where I'm from, give us the opportunity to bring these videos to you all. Without them, this channel wouldn't be possible. Join us over on Patreon for more in-depth lessons and step-by-step instruction on everything from gear to theory, riding everything from colts to bridle horses, the circus pole, and husbandry. We'd love to see you all over there.